Terry. You work here, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's get to the point. We're going to take the deal.
The Volkswagen Model Year-End Sales event ends on Labor Day, so hurry into your local Volkswagen dealer today.
Who says families have to share data? These guys, that's who. But at T-Mobile, you can get 4 lines with up to 10 gigs of 4G LTE data each. No sharing. And just $30 a line. 10 gigs for each and every one of you. We'll even pay your family switching fees, up to $650 per line. So you can get 10 gigs for all today. And it's only from T-Mobile.
Coming up next, it's the final game of our tripleheader of CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. From the office in Kingston, Jamaica versus Nicaragua, next right here on beIN Sports.
Vamos, vamos.
Te extraño, peluchito.
Nuevo Ford Focus, diseñado para los momentos que te motivan a seguir. Ford, llega más lejos.
There are those who stop and those who push on. So go, be something more.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, so what are you up to tonight?
Nothing much. I'm just doing like a little karaoke thing.
Yeah, well, let's hear some.
No, right here. Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. So, no, you know the rest. Thank you. I go on at 9. Or 9:30, sometimes they run late.
As long as you are you, it's Miller time.
Who says families have to share data? These guys, that's who. But at T-Mobile, you can get 4 lines with up to 10 gigs of 4G LTE data each. No sharing. And just $30 a line. 10 gigs for each and every one of you. We'll even pay your family switching fees, up to $650 per line. So you can get 10 gigs for all today. And it's only from T-Mobile.
It is time to go to work, so why not head to the office? It is Kingston, Jamaica. The decks in yellow. Jamaica getting set to take on Nicaragua as they start their quest for Russia 2018. Good look at the lineup that Winfred Schaefer is going to toss out there today, and it's Andre Blake. Hard time getting into his MLS gear, but no problem for the Reggae boys. Justo Llorente is going to be in goal, the 21-year-old out of Real Estelí for Nicaragua. A lot of MLS faces on the Jamaica lineup. Meanwhile, a lot of homegrown faces for Nicaragua. This is a Nica side that realizes they need to keep this one close, so the second match matters. Phil Shane, Matteo Bonetti with you, and we are just in the early stages of this one. Jamaica coming off of a stellar performance, not only in the Gold Cup, but also the Copa America, and now looking to try and cash in their chips. World Cup qualifying, this is where it gets real. The captain, Rudolph Austin, knocked down. It's going to be a free kick for the home side. It is Mariappa, Hector, Powell, and Lawrence in the back. Austin flanked by Watson and Phillips, and Giles Barnes, Simon Dawkins, and Darren Maddox up front. Meanwhile, Llorente in goal for Nicaragua. Copete, Casco, Rosas, and Quijano in the back. Marlon and Franklin Lopez in the midfield. Pinel and Chavarria, Galeano and Lasso rounding out the starting lineups for the visitors. In blue, moving from left to right. And Mateo, Nicaragua, the underdogs here, and starting out on the road. Jamaica launching it in, but blasted high into the air. Nicaragua, more of a baseball playing country, but just like Venezuela, anything is possible. And there we see Galeano, one of their hopes for the future.
Jamaica, the clear favorites, have had a chance to watch them both in the Gold Cup and also in the Copa America. And Jamaica have shown that they can go toe-to-toe with some of the top teams, both in South America and, of course, in CONCACAF. They were so impressive in the Gold Cup and really mixing Vinny Schaefer's new philosophies of stout defensive, almost a German efficiency, and then the athleticism that the Jamaican players have along with the skill throughout the entire board. There's a lot of experience, Phil, throughout the lineup. A lot of these players do ply their trade in the top divisions in England, several Premier League players and a few others in the championship. So it's a very fit side. They've played a lot of matches together this summer and should be the favorites here against Nicaragua.
Ball tackled away in the midfield. Mofran Lasso, 24-year-old, coming back. It is a relatively young Nicaragua side. The veteran leadership in the midfield from Franklin Lopez, and the back line from Manuel Rosas, the only players on the pitch above 30. Nicaragua trying to turn the corner, and they do, leaving Alvis Powell in his wake. Still loose inside the 18 and knocked out. It'll be a corner kick. Good hustle on that far flank. Elvis Pinel.
And it was Alvis Powell there. And Espinel just getting right around the much bigger Powell. Risking a penalty there. Powell just swinging in his legs, but he doesn't catch Pinel enough to send him tumbling.
It is an all Salvadoran crew. Marlon Mejia, the referee. Juan Zumba, Jose Mangando, and Edenilson Ventura. Ball launched in from the corner. Four minutes in, Nicaragua putting a lot of the early pressure on. Crossed in, looking for the handball, and it is called. The ball bouncing up, and Kamar Lawrence could not get his hand out of the way. Too afraid of what would happen if the ball got past him. Instead, something worse happens, and a chance for Nicaragua to take the lead in the 4th minute from the spot.
Oh, it's an incredible start here, and the referee called into action right away as the ball blasted inside the box. Let's take a look at the replay here and see exactly what the referee saw as the cross swung into the box.
You see Galeano behind. He's afraid that the ball might slip through. A few technical issues with the tape machine, even a few more technical issues with Kamar Lawrence, who was one of the bright spots at the Gold Cup, but not here. So 5th minute, and Andre Blake, Husky looking to come up big. Blasted and going the other way. Rosas with a short step up. Blake could not read it, and the underdog Nicaragua with the first bite of the match.
And take a look at this, the coaching staff in a frenzy for Nicaragua. It's an improbable lead as the referee calls the handball in the opening minutes, and he sends the goalkeeper Andre Blake the wrong way. It's a fine taken penalty, has a bit of power behind it, and it just hits that side netting.
Hard to argue with the handball call. Impossible to argue with the performance of the captain, the 31-year-old from Real Estelí, just his 2nd goal. But stepping up to the challenge, and now Jamaica needs to come from behind. Well, it is not often that the minnows, even with sharp teeth, can take a bite, but that has happened here in the early going. And Mateo, that road goal is huge. And this is a 2-legged affair. The second leg will be back in Managua. And even if Jamaica comes back to tie this up, Nicaragua, well, even in fact, if Jamaica can walk away with a 2-1 victory, Nicaragua has to feel pretty good about themselves, knowing that if they can get a goal at home, they would almost certainly advance. And Winnie Schaefer right now knows he has his work cut out for him.
As a brilliant coach, Vinny Schaefer will have something up his sleeve, but it does put his side on the back foot now for the entirety of the match. They're going to have to change their tactics. Same with Nicaragua. Now they can play a little bit deeper the defensive line. They don't have to really venture up the pitch. I expected them to play defensively from the get-go, as you see here.
And I would have imagined once they took the lead, they'd be even more defensive, but it's anything but.
Doesn't have too much experience. Andre Blake here, the 24-year-old, and it's a panic clearance there. And it's Kamara Lawrence. He knows that. Should have done better. Run a smooth to get the ball out of the back as we take a look at the penalty from Manuel Rosas.
Oh, Rabona. Ball launched inside by Franklin Lopez. By the way, something that Blake might want to hear, and probably actually doesn't want to hear, but will, as he catches this one at the edge of the 18. On a short step up, most of the time it's going to be placement, not power. And placement tends to go when they've opened themselves. So in effect, the short approach by Manuel Rosas meant that he was more likely than not going to go to Blake's right, his left. That's exactly what happened. Blake going the other way, and in fact, if anything, was frozen. Still, a good call, a good penalty, and now Jamaica working from behind. Ball blasted away. Jason Casco to midfield. Now it trickles across for Chavarria. Chavarria to the 18. A low roller off the post. Oh my! Just like that, they've doubled the lead.
What an upset brewing here in Kingston. On the counterattack, they're playing very defensively now. They can break. It's a fine ball played right into the space. And it's a fine strike right into the bottom corner. Take a look at that. The defense nowhere to be seen on that side. Kamar Lawrence out of position. And he still has all to do. Chavarria from that position way outside the box. It needs to be placed perfectly. And he strikes it low and hard. No chance there for Andre Blake.
The 21-year-old with his third goal for his nation, also from Real Estelí. That's the big club. If you're looking at CONCACAF Champions League play, if there is a Nicaraguan side that is going to be in the Champions League, more often than not, it's Estelí. And right now they're leading the national team to an improbable 2-0 lead.
They need to be better with the ball at their feet, Jamaica. This is so unlike what we've seen from the Reggae Boys this season, rather this calendar year. And Vinny Schaefer cannot believe what he's been seeing. It's a giveaway in the midfield, and just like that, one touch to set Chavarria off into space. The defense on the back foot. It's a short field, and then Chavarria still asked to really strike that one perfectly. And he does just that. It's brilliant work from Nicaragua. No one expecting this result. Still plenty of time though, Phil.
That's the good news for Jamaica. They still have 80 minutes of this match to go, plus a second leg, so it is far from over. But if there was going to be one thing Henry Duarte and Nicaragua wanted to do right off the bat, if they could, was to take the home crowd out of it. And right now, the National Stadium is practically silent.
Absolutely stunned. Now they can bunker up in front of the 21-year-old goalkeeper, Llorente.
Well, to this point, in all honesty, there have not been many surprises in World Cup qualifying. A few in the Euros. If anything, the big surprises maybe out of Asia or some of the scores that reach double digits. But this would be an upset. Blasted into the corner, but slapped over the bar by Llorente. A cannon shot from the midfield. Looked like it might have been Austin.
Yeah, it was Austin, Phil. Rudy Austin always coming up, making that second wave of runs, and just outside the box, Giles Barnes puts it right into the big man's path and strikes it full venom. Asking a question of Justo Llorente. Just does enough to tip it over the crossbar. That's much better from Jamaica.
From the corner, an in-swinger. Near post guarded to the top of the six. Still loose. Looked like it banged off Javon Watson, and Llorente out quickly. Llorente, another player out of Estelí.
Take a look at that little layoff there from Giles Barnes, the striker from Houston Dynamo. He sees the run coming from Rudy Austin, and he just blasts it first time. He's been known to score goals like this. Austin, he has 7 goals for his national side. This season spent it at Leeds United in the Championship. Long and grueling season in the English second tier.
Saw Austin score in the 90th minute a game-winning goal against Canada in Gold Cup play this summer. He is one that does like to lead, not just with the armband, but by example.
So far a bit rusty here. Kamar Lawrence, the left back, still very young, and you see him maybe just a little bit nervous with the ball at his feet. Was out of position on the goal from Chavarria.
Ball blasted out to midfield. Reclaimed Austin in the center circle. He's the tail end of that diamond, and he can't pass the ball, and also very difficult to beat on the dribble. Here taken down by Lasso, and it's a free kick for Jamaica. Really interesting, and you have to give credit to Duarte and Nicaragua. How many minnows would have been content once they score the early lead off a clear but fortunate penalty? Would have just dropped back, bunkered in. But if you read your history, you know the Maginot line didn't really work that well.
And the second goal didn't even come from them having attacking play. They were bunkered up in their own half. It just one quick pass to release one player in behind the Jamaican backline, and what a finish that was from the 21-year-old Chavarria, playing away in hostile territory.
Well, in the Gold Cup, in the Copa America, it was the Dwayne show in between the pipes. Dwayne Kerr, Dwayne Miller, both doing well, to Lionel Messi's regret. Here comes Jamaica, ball inside, looking for Maddox, but cleared away.
Oh, he did have one inexplicable header right into the path of the opposition, Phil.
Now,
made the blooper reels.
Andre Blake here today, but it would be almost impossible to criticize the young Philadelphia goalkeeper. On a penalty, you really don't have any right to save it, and on the other one, maybe you could say he might have been able to get a fingertip or more over, but the shot coming from about 25, almost 30 yards out, and it scrapes the inside of the post. That's one where you just go back, you pick the ball up, and you shake the guy's hand.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was a case of Andre Blake just reacting late to the shot. He was fully expecting it. He saw it. There was no one in his path to obstruct his view. It was just well taken from Carlos Chavarria.
So another chance off the restart. This will swing in at the edge of the 6. A little miscommunication. Llorente clattering into his defender Copete, and a bit fortunate the ball did not drop.
Just a miscommunication there. Young players, very inexperienced. And now let's see if they have the mental fortitude and not commit mistakes, not be their own worst enemy there at the back, and allow
in-swinger headed away, and a chance for Nicaragua to catch their breath.
And allow Jamaica to crawl their way back in it. We know that it's going to be mostly a Jamaica show for the remainder of the match. They're going to try to now really suffocate Nicaragua in their own half, keep the majority of the possession. Just have to find a way to knock down that wall in the fort. That's a very poor ball from the back there from Llorente.
Well, something that Nicaragua is going to have to avoid doing is giving up possession too easily. You're right. I think with the 2-goal lead, they will be a little more reserved. Here again, take a look.
That's perfectly struck. Couldn't have struck it any better, Phil. Just skirts off the post.
Edge of the area, and it looks like a foul just before the goal line. So another chance off a restart for Jamaica. This is not the way they plan to start this match.
This is the way that Jamaica can really get their way back in this match, Phil. In the air, they're fantastic on these set pieces. All the towers coming forward from the back.
Giles Barnes earning the free kick.
Even in previous competitions in the Copa America and the Gold Cup, really showed their aerial prowess.
Again, an in-swinger. They do have some big bodies. Should have the advantage here. Ball driven inside, trying to find one of them. Looked like Hector, but cleared away at the last moment. Little collision just outside. Up pops Lasso. Quarter hour in the books. 2-0 the score. Rosas from the spot in the fourth. 4 minutes later, Chavarria with one that probably needed a compass to be any closer. A giveaway here and a panicked clearance by Powell all the way back the other way, and now Llorente will slam it back the other way.
That's uncharacteristic now at the back. It was Michael Hector. Slight heavy touch there, nearly gets dispossessed, and would have been another short field for Nicaragua to work with.
Ball trickles across. Giles Barnes not able to get it. You can see Duarte wants a little more movement out of his team. Duarte, the ex-Costa Rican international.
Incredible to think, Phil, only one of these players on the entire side for Nicaragua plays away from domestic football in their home country. That's Juan Barrera, who's in Austria in the lower divisions.
Battling for the ball, almost given away by Hector, but does come away with it. Not exactly sure what to do as they retreat again. Powell skims it to the near side. Lawrence trying to get to it. It's a bit of a makeshift back line. Powell out of Portland dropping alongside Hector. Mariapa as well. Inside for Barnes. Really bursting onto the scene with Houston last year and making a name for himself. Intent to drop it back. Franklin Lopez. Some pressure on the far side. Quijano. Now Rosas trapped in the corner. Barnes pinning him in along with Simon Dawkins. Appeals that it should go the other way, but a Jamaica throw in deep in Nicaragua territory.
It's good work so far from Giles Barnes, the number 9, drifting back into the midfield. Has good feet, has the ability to link up. It's an interesting story. Suffered plenty of injuries. Giles Barnes throughout his career back in England when he was at Derby and West Brom.
Into the area and undercut is Llorente. The ball pops free. The referee kept the whistle silent. That was dangerous.
This might be a problem here at the back for Nicaragua. This goalkeeper's distribution in here doesn't look secure at all. This is going over the top of the player, then it just slips out of his gloves. Let's see if that becomes a real issue for Nicaragua. Justo Llorente, the 21-year-old.
Spinning away on the near side. Casco bangs it off of the speedy Maddox. Maddox with all of the skills to be playing in England already, although Vancouver glad that he's not. Problem is trying to tie all those skills together at the same time. Creates many chances. Finishing them, though, has been a different story. Chance here, flipped forward. Casco again will clear. Not far enough. Phillips launching it in. Strong run in the middle, but the shot goes over the bar. Golden chance for Simon Dawkins.
That was a good run there from Dawkins. That was met to perfection with that cross. Gets in behind Manuel Rosas. Just the final touch. Nowhere close to putting that in between the goal pipes. Take another look at the cross. He sees the run as Dawkins getting in behind Rosas, the defender who scored the goal. There's the cross. Way onside, and poor defending. You see Rosas telling his teammate Luis Copete to come more centrally towards the striker. Another miscommunication at the back from Nicaragua.
Ball deflects to the near side. Kamar Lawrence, heart probably fluttered a little bit. He has not had a good match so far. Still 70 minutes to turn it around, though. Victimized on the bouncing ball off of his arm. that resulted in the penalty, victimized by the speed and quick thinking of Chavarria for the second goal. Quijano, and that was dangerous there again. Maddox with his speed. Good ball in the middle, though, taking the pressure off as they look for Galliano. Chavarria, the goal scorer, but he couldn't bring it down. So surprised that Jamaica on their own home turf surrendering possession so cheaply. Good chance here, trying to hold off. Lasso drops it back, but well read. But again, just given right back to Nicaragua. Now a chance for Jamaica, and Maddox has some space. Phillips behind him, Maddox to the middle, sees Barnes, uses Barnes, but too sloppy. Allowing Copete to step up, and now eventually one back.
It's better defending now from Copete. Just reaches a foot inside. He sees the pass, reads it before it happens, as Maddox and Giles Barnes trying to link up outside the box.
Here comes Barnes again, finding a bit of a gap. The Nicaragua defense getting stretched a bit, appeals for a handball, but the assistant on the far side seemed to have a good view. It's about a 750-mile trek to the northeast from Managua to Kingston. Might even be further in the FIFA table, especially after their performance this summer. Nice little back heel from Javon Watson. Into the middle, the header by Phillips goes wide.
Did well, Phillips, to get above the two center backs despite lacking the height against them. Another fine ball delivered to the heart of the box. It's going to be the plan here from Vinny Schaefer when he does get forward, try to send in a steady stream of crosses to trouble that undersized Nicaraguan backline.
That does seem to be part of the game plan, but Jamaica seems to be relying too much on the long ball at the moment. Let's see if Austin can get it down where the cows graze. Maddox lifting it back. Good run. Phillips trying to burst past Casco. Loose ball. Maddox, but cleared away.
Much higher line now for Jamaica. This is the type of look that they'll probably go with the rest of the match unless they get pushed back occasionally. It's been uncharacteristic giveaways as well in the midfield. I wonder if it's playing down to the opponent as well. It's an issue that you see sometimes with a nation that's vastly favored or overpowered against one of the minnows, and Nicaragua, one of the lower ranked teams so far, have done the best with the two occasions that have come their way. First coming from a handball, and the second just one pass to release the striker in space, and then a fine finish. Real clinical Chavarria in front of goal.
Another opportunity from Phillips, goes all the way to the back post, bounced in by Dawkins, cleared by Casco, and now touched out to the midfield for Galliano. Nicaragua again a bit rattled, getting pulled out of shape. Jamaica trying to take advantage, but unable to send in a good ball. Kamar Lawrence again, and the nightmare continues.
Two crosses, both of them coming down that left-hand side. The first one with Phillips was a decent ball to the far post. He had an option there, and then Kamar Lawrence, the nightmare continues for him so far in this match. Poorly placed ball with all those options crowding the box. You have to give them something to work with.
Jamaica ranked 52nd, actually went up 3 more notches in the FIFA rankings. Nicaragua all the way down at 139. Nearly 100 places below, but 2 points up where it counts on the moment. And again, you get back to the crucial road goals. This would mean they could even go home and lose by a goal and still advance to the next round. And this could be a bit of a concern. Depth would be an issue for Nicaragua at the moment. Nicaragua, one of those teams that doesn't get the benefit of a bye. They actually had to start in the first round. The draw for that was all the way back in January. 5-0 win against Anguilla and a 3-0 in the return leg. So 8-0 Nicaragua advanced, and then beating Suriname 4-1 in the second round. All of a sudden Jamaica coming in with some of the big dogs in round number 3, and as you pointed out, perhaps thinking this would be a cakewalk.
This was supposed to be a cakewalk here today. Still plenty of time, but hasn't gone according to script.
A little frosting on their face in the early going. Chipped inside, headed high by Phillips, and tapped over the bar just in case by Justo Llorente.
Undersized Llorente. Some other goalkeepers would have reached up and snatched that away, but can barely get a fingertip to it and just knocks it over the crossbar to safety.
They say 5'11". He does appear maybe
No
to
chance.
be a bit shorter than that.
5'9" maybe.
But he knows how to control his area to this point. Cleared away at the near post. Back to midfield. Stepping in Austin. The ex-Leeds man down the line. Jamaica finally starting to build a rhythm. In for Watson. Tries to return it off the give and go.
Yeah, but they need to do a better point of holding on to possession. Try to go on those 1-2s in and around the box. Don't just fling the ball into the box on those crosses. So far it hasn't really worked out. I think slowly, as the game wears on in these humid conditions, we're going to start seeing Jamaica doing to Nicaragua what they did to a lot of teams this past summer, just wearing them down. Such a physical, fast, athletic side under Vinny Schaefer. And 2 errors costing them greatly here today.
Bit of a change in the qualifying compared to last time. Nicaragua in a group with Panama and Dominica finishing second. That was not good enough as Panama advanced through ball. Casco again doesn't clear it far enough away. Watson inside with the outside of the boot, but cleared by Rosas. Lawrence wide for Phillips. Sneaks the cross in, deflected, and a heel flick up and over. Barnes almost making something out of nothing.
Oh, would have been sensational. Hardly has any time to react here, Giles Barnes. It comes after another great cross from Damar Phillips, who's doing some good work there on that left-hand side, constantly blowing by Quijano. Just a little step, creates the space with that little burst of acceleration. Sees his 2 targets in Maddox and Giles Barnes, after the deflection, does well to react and nearly gets it to go in what would have been one of the better goals that we've seen.
2 goals over a 3-minute span for Nicaragua. The first time they have ever done that in a World Cup qualifier. But can they hold on for a victory? And if so, that would definitely rattle things. Talked about how the brackets go. There are 6 of these 3rd round pairings in the home and away. Curaçao, El Salvador, Canada, Belize would both slot in with Mexico and Honduras, who already have byes into the 4th round. St. Vincent and the Grenadines or Aruba. St. Vincent coming away with a victory in the first leg. Antigua and Barbuda against Guatemala. They would slot in with the U.S. and Trinidad and Tobago. Got a bit of a slow start earlier today, but Haiti won their first leg against Grenada. And everyone already penciling Haiti and Jamaica into the Costa Rica-Panama group, but Nicaragua throwing a wrench into the works. 15 minutes left in this opening half. Alvis Powell. Hector. Good ball. Another back heel Barnes. Trying to return the favor. Austin. But he loses it and his footing. Or Fran Lasso. One man to beat. Now we'll get a second chance. Lasso tries to square it. Late run, but quickly over Andre Blake just in time.
The run was there. Powell nowhere to be seen. We see now the last two times that Jamaica's ventured upfield, they haven't decided to boot the ball in with one of those crosses being whipped in. They've kept the ball on the ground and they have looked a bit more dangerous.
Launch to the near side. Quijano high into the air. Now he gets a second effort, but slammed to the turf in the contact with Phillips. A few times in this first half, Nicaraguan players have gone down and been in no hurry to get up. Understandable in this case.
This is going to be a pattern that we'll see for the rest of the match, no doubt. Even the goalkeeper Llorente is going to take his sweet time to boot it to the center of the pitch every time he gets the ball. As expected, it's already a marvelous result, and any second that they can shave off the clock is going to be seen as a victory for Henry Duarte's men.
And they get to the dressing room with a 2-goal lead, or at least a lead of any kind. Here's Austin. Lawrence. Still plenty of time for the 22-year-old Red Bull to right his wrongs. Hector. Powell. Well, up to Dawkins. Threads it forward, but offside.
Most of the attacks keep going down the flanks. One of the first times that we've seen it go down the right-hand side through Alvis Powell, the 21-year-old from the Portland Timbers. Well, that was close. Just looks to be in line, actually, with Jason Casco, the center back of Nicaragua. Close call.
Another foul. More time on the ground. Elvis Pinel. Haven't been too many upsets in CONCACAF so far.
Well, in all fairness, the Pinelli did get smothered right in the jaw. As Javon Wasson just extending that left arm and catching Pinel with the forearm.
No upsets in the first round of CONCACAF. Mateo. Ball driven across, chested away by Lawrence. This time finds a teammate. Maybe you could say Grenada over Puerto Rico in the second round of play. Aruba knocking out Barbados. That's about it. Nicaragua perhaps a mini upset as they ousted Suriname, but those are basically minnows attacking minnows. Now in the third round of play, could be a big scalp, and that second goal might be enough to frustrate Jamaica, which would be an amazing turnaround. I mean, this is a team that went against South America's best, and defensively was stellar, and physically was dominant.
I remember covering their match against Uruguay in the Copa America. That was back in the group stage, and I'll tell you, they won up against a side that's won the Copa America, has so many great players playing in the top 5 European leagues, and the Jamaicans looked every bit up to the task.
Driven to the near side. Lawrence cuts it back. Again for Austin. Mentioned ex-Leeds. He was cut at the end of last season. Still looking for work. He is a free agent, so that transfer window doesn't matter anymore, but trying to get his work permit has been a bit more difficult. At the edge of the 18, fighting his way through. Barnes goes down. The foul will be whistled, but just outside the area. And forgive me, it was Alvis Powell who was pushing in from that right back position.
Vinny Schaefer said before that he thinks the set piece is where his side can be the most dangerous, and now they get a golden opportunity as the player dragged down. Should have been a foul originally. He's getting chomped down, contact on the ankle, and then finally the decisive blow.
So about 25 yards out, maybe closer to 27 on an angle. Again, Lasso taking his time to come up. In case you're wondering why in recent years, post South Africa 2014, they ended up bringing the stretcher on almost right away. It's situations like this. We saw it a lot in that World Cup, where teams would strategically get injured. This one appears to maybe be a bit more serious, but also taking his time for a chat. Looks like we could end up having our first substitution, though. Juan Ramon Barrera loosening up on the sideline. Looks like he might have pulled a groin muscle, did Lasso. And it is Barrera coming in. Morfan Lasso lasting 37 minutes. The 26-year-old, as you pointed out, the only foreign-based player on this roster out of Rheindorf Altach in the lower divisions of Austria.
Bit of a different look now. A bit more defensive, taking out a striker, putting in a player that can play in the center of the park. This man right here, Barrera, also coming out of Real Estelí, which is essentially half the squad right now for Nicaragua play their domestic football at Real Estelí.
Jamaica ready, driving it into the wall. Maddox fighting for it, but the ball bounces away and slammed back to midfield. A little risky and not a smart play. The substitute, Barrera, might have had the chance to catch Mariappa. Hector it was. Reaches out, just enough of a touch. If he doesn't, could have been off to the races. Slicing to the inside, advantage played, says Marlon Mejia. Swept wide again. Chance for Barnes on the left foot. His cross deflected, and now Nicaragua the other way, but it seems like they might be running out of fuel. Just trying to hold on these final 6 minutes till halftime. Mariappa deflects inside. The foul goes the other way. Opete seems to be hurt. Austin disagrees.
Looked like a 50-50 challenge originally. Nicaragua coming out worse for wear. Take a look here as Rudy Austin extending a boot. Yeah, he does catch him. That is a foul on Austin. Just going right into the shin.
As you said, new formation from Nicaragua, giving him a little bit more bodies in the midfield, putting a little more pressure on the youngster Galeano, who really just burst onto the scene out of Municipal Jalapa. Just his third appearance for the Nicaraguan number 10. Stepping up, Quijano was possessed, slammed high into the air and into touch, and again the back line of Jamaica just seems to be launching it into orbit.
You can tell every time Nicaragua have to take a throw in or player goes down, they're taking their time. It's going to be a game to just get to the 90th minute now.
Sweeping it across. Chavarria sending it wide into the 18. A little contact with Powell. No foul, says the referee. Elvis Pinel giving chase again, challenging Powell. Ball gets up to Barnes. Jamaica continues forward. Maddox making the run. Pasco over to defend. Maddox to the inside, gets around him, but then forced all the way back. Squared into the middle, just enough. Watson into the area as
Good
Dawkins
challenge.
has switched, and just enough of a challenge from Rosas. Out for the corner. Quijano the one who slid in to deny.
That time Quijano does get the upper hand over DeMar Phillips, who's really been terrorizing down this left-hand side.
Into the 6. Found a little gap between the Twin Towers. Kicking forward Lawrence, but it's off his heels.
Look how close the Jamaicans are alongside one another every time that ball swung in. 4 options. Maddox, Giles Barnes, Simon Dawkins getting in there. Should have the huge advantage, but so far hasn't paid off for Vinny Schaefer.
Duarte pacing a hole in front of the Nicaraguan bench. Overlap. Watson, left foot towards the spot, but huge blue numbers to cover. Austin stepping up. The spin might keep it in. So does Barnes. Trying to turn the corner, taken down from behind. That's a foul, and it might be a card.
Just physically on another level, Jamaica. Every 50-50 challenge, you see them muscling off the Nicaraguan players off the ball. Giles Barnes showing his pace, his strength to hold off the defender. He's trying to get involved any way he can. We've seen him go out wide, back into the midfield, very active here. Michael Hector just towering over the goalkeeper.
Again, an in-swinger through the two-man wall. Appealing for a handball, but it bangs off Quijano. They'll have to settle for a corner. Quijano scrambling over to protect that near post. Jamaica sends it to the near post, looking to try and find Barnes. His header goes awry.
Tight angle for this glancing header from Barnes. Trying to redirect it back in behind him. Really needed to strike it perfectly, but looks like Llorente had it covered either way.
Trying to flick it on the substitute Barrera. First Nicaraguan player to ever play for a professional side in Europe. Quite an accomplishment, and it would go right up there if they can find a way to win at the office. Edge of the 18, a collision. Again, it's Powell trying to fly into the area, couldn't bring it down as he was bumped. And you know what? That is a foul. Might have been going for the ball, but he got the man. And it will be a free kick for Jamaica. Hard to argue with the Salvadorian officials. Marlon Mejia keeping what could have bubbled over a bit in check. Heading towards added time. Already been a couple of goals and a substitution. Maybe we'll see 4 minutes. But Jamaica still has time. Driving it in and missing that near post. Llorente never even flinched, going wide all the time. And it will be 3 minutes for Jamaica.
One of those hybrid cross shots that if you can get that final touch inside the box, great, but looks like he was fully intent on going for goal. That top corner at the far post just overhits it.
Gotta wonder what Winfried Schaefer has up his sleeves. When you think about it, they've rarely gone into a game that counts as a favorite. He's going to come up with something new. Maddox trying to force his way through. Pasco clears it away. At this rate, Duarte might not even have a voice in about 2 minutes' time. Hard to imagine what he's like when they're losing. Driven across. Apologies from Dawkins.
Can't imagine the pressure Henry Duarte having to see his side now, trying to fight for their lives and keeping this clean sheet, not allowing Jamaica to crawl their way back in it. And it's been all Jamaica ever since the second goal went in. As expected, of course, Nicaragua taking a much more defensive shape. They want to give as few spaces as possible. That does open the door for Jamaica to constantly cross the ball into the box, which on paper would be the ideal tactic.
Nations from Nicaragua sliding in. Quijano tries to switch, taken away at the center circle, and intentional or otherwise a foul. It will slow Jamaica down, and maybe just one more minute to go before the break. Ron Watson lays it down, restarted. Lawrence pushing down this left wing. Dawkins moving to the inside a bit, leaving Alvis Powell to patrol that far flank. They'll get another chance, maybe one final one, to send a ball into the box. Nice setup, but a poor shot from Austin. Trying to get to Sheffield Wednesday. Now maybe Brøndby in Scandinavia an option. Still just 30 years of age. Real leader. Jamaica will need him more than ever in the second half.
Absolutely. Remember seeing Austin as well in the championship. Real fiery midfielder. Very much the heartbeat of this Jamaican side in the center of the park.
And that will do it. The heart fluttering just a bit for the blue and white. Goal in the 4th minute from the spot for Rosas. Chavarria 4 minutes later, and it's Nicaragua with the surprising 2-0 lead at the half.
Hey, Terry, stop. They have a special.
So what'd you guys think of the test drive?
I love the Jetta, but what about a deal?
Terry, stop.
No, it's quite all right.
Okay, you know what? We want to make a deal with you.
We're twins, so could you give us 2 for the price of 1?
Come on, give us a deal. Look at how old I am.
Do you come here often?
He works here, Terry. You work here, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's get to the point. We're going to take the deal.
The Volkswagen Model Year-End Sales event ends on Labor Day, so hurry into your local Volkswagen dealer today.
Who says families have to share data? These guys, that's who. But at T-Mobile, you can get 4 lines with up to 10 gigs of 4G LTE data each. No sharing. And just $30 a line.